Welcome back to the Retro Vault, where we look at and dive into stories from games of old. In the previous episode, we looked at the story from first-person shooter 13. If you didn't catch that one, then the video is up there, but today, we'll once again be going back to the Wild West, and looking at another PS2 game, Red Dead Revolver. This game was released back in 2004, and was the start of the Red Dead series of games. The game was originally being developed by a small studio called Angel Studios, who were working alongside Capcom, and the game almost did not see the light of day as Capcom pulled funding for it in 2003. Angel Studios were then acquired by Rockstar and became Rockstar San Diego. Rockstar saw the potential of this cancelled project, and then in May 2004 it was released. Rockstar San Diego would go on to produce the Midnight Club series and would help develop the two Red Dead games that would follow Revolver in Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2. But anyway, let's get into the story. Sometime in the 1870s, two prospectors, people who search for precious minerals, strike gold in a place called Bear Mountain. The two men, named Nate Harlow and his friend Griff, craft two matching revolvers, with each of them having one in celebration of their find. A little later on, Nate returned home and shared the good news with his wife Falling Star, with her being of native descent, and their son Red. Nate gives his son his old revolver and tells him to go and practice shooting down by the river. After some time shooting, some raiders storm the family's ranch, helping his father fight off the men after making his way up the hill. Red hears his father yell out and he's been shot. The man who shot him walks over, telling Red that his father is better off dead on account of him being a yellow belly, an old-fashioned insult in calling someone a coward. Red picks up his father's new revolver, grabbing it from the flames, and despite the gun burning his hand, he shoots the man's arm clean off, and Red hides down the hill from the men, who flee. 12 years later, Red is working as a bounty hunter. Whilst buying weapons from a man on the side of the road, he is approached by two men who harass the weapons dealer. They pick a fight with Red, but he kills them, along with any men with them, including the three leaders of their gang, Tom, Oaf, and George. The weapons dealer tells Red these men will fetch a handsome bounty, what with them being an outlaw gang, so Red takes their bodies to the nearby town of Widow's Patch. Once there, he sees the town's sheriff, O'Grady, about the bounty, but he says there's nothing there in the town that he can offer him. He says a gang has destroyed his town and has taken it over. With them shooting the dog that has been accompanying Red, he prepares to teach this gang a valuable lesson, and that is how to die in the dirt like the dog they just killed. Taking them all out, including the gang's leader, Ugly Chris. Sheriff O'Grady got injured in the gunfight, unfortunately, so Red needs to take him to the town of Brimstone and to a doctor. So getting onto a train and foiling a train robbery on board by the fearsome Pedrosa brothers, Red finally arrives in the town. Delivering O'Grady to the sheriff of this town, Sheriff Bartlett, he tells Red to visit him later, so after perusing and seeing what the town has to offer, Red goes to see him. Bartlett tells him there's a number of bounties he can pick up, so Red heads out on these bounties, taking out gunslingers such as Pig Josh, Bad Bessie, and Mr. Black. They had all been terrorizing people in the local area and needed dealing with. Whilst taking out Pig Josh though, Red met and befriended a British trick shooter by the name of Jack Swift, who helped him take down Pig Josh. Pig Josh was a member of a travelling carnival show along with Jack, who had been invited to be a sharpshooter in the carnival by its leader, the ringmaster, Preston O'Leary. O'Leary was killed, mysteriously, at some point, and a guy called Professor Perry took charge, and because he and Jack didn't get on, Perry locked Jack in a cage, which is how Red found him. Later on, Jack would get his revenge against Professor Perry and his very annoying group of circus minions. The woman he saves, Katie, tells Jack of a sharpshooter competition in Brimstone, in which the prize fund is $5,000 worth of gold. With all those bounties dealt with, Red goes to see Sheriff Bartlett again, but there's a problem, because Red can't get paid, as the wagon transporting the bank's gold hasn't arrived in town, so Bartlett tells Red to go and speak with the bank manager, Mr. Peabody. Peabody is in his office in conversation with the woman who needs some more time to come up with the $5,000 that she owes. She owns a ranch, and Peabody suggests that she sell up and move into the town to find work at the saloon, to which she understandably objects, wanting to speak to the bank's owner. He fobs her off by saying the governor is too busy for the likes of her. She walks off screaming about the governor having a load of gold already from Bear Mountain. Given this is the gold his parents were murdered over, this piques Red's curiosity. Red demands his money and also demands more information about the gold in Bear Mountain that the woman was talking about. Peabody refuses to tell Red anything, but he does tell him the location of the woman's ranch, so Red goes there. In the meantime, the woman named Annie Stokes arrives back at her ranch and finds it under attack by the governor's men, which is punishment for her refusing to sell up. Taking out many of the men working for the governor and freeing the livestock from the burning barn, she's able to successfully defend her property, which was owned by her late father. Red shows up there and introduces himself, wanting to know about the gold on Bear Mountain. She suggests he go to the town of Brimstone, as there are always drunks in there yapping about it. Red looks at the note pinned to the gate, and turning it over, it mentions the prize money for a quick draw competition, and conveniently the prize money is $5,000. Red heads on over to Brimstone on Annie's recommendation, and in the saloon, he overhears 3 drunks flapping their gums about how Colonel Darren lost his arm, with Red remembering that he shot someone's arm off all those years ago. A bar fight then erupts, with Red killing the 3 men that refuse to tell him anything before they kill the working girls there. He kills the leader and all his cronies in the gunfight, and is eventually arrested by Sheriff Bartlett for disturbing the peace, and Red tells him that he wants to know more about the one-armed man, as he killed Red's family. Bartlett soon releases Red once he realises that he is the son of Nate Harlow. Bartlett explains that years ago the US cavalry, which Bartlett was a part of, had made an incursion south of the border. A general serving in the Mexican army by the name of Javier Diego led his army in a ferocious fight against the US cavalry, as they were to protect the bridge crossing the Rio Grande. One of Diego's men, his subordinate, was Colonel Darren. This culminated in the Mexican army blowing the bridge up. General Diego took a number of civilian prisoners, one of whom was Griff, and yes, he is the same Griffin that was friends with Nate Harlow. He managed to save his own life by promising General Diego gold, enough to make him very powerful. Thus Diego would send his lackey Colonel Darren to kill Griff's business partner, who was of course Nate Harlow. After Nate had been killed, Griff's new business partner was General Diego. Having learned all this, Red wants to know where to find Diego, and Sheriff Bartlett says that he rides through the area once a week in order to deliver gold to the governor. His horses rest at a place called Devil's Fork, but he calls Diego's wagon a fortress on wheels. Bartlett says that all the charges will be dropped if Red brings him in. Dead is fine. Red soon arrives at Sunset Canyon, and it's not long until he's caught in a gunfight with the men standing guard there, of which there are many. Red is caught off guard though, and he's knocked out by Colonel Darren, who is accompanied by General Diego, and he's taken to the gold mine on Bear Mountain while someone watches from above. The man watching him is named Shadow Wolf, and he reports back to his tribe saying that Red, or Cousin Red, is alive. Remember, Red is part native thanks to his mother Falling Star, and Shadow Wolf is ordered to help Red. The mines in Bear Mountain are guarded by the Black Elk tribe, who, once a great people, had been swayed and manipulated by Diego into doing his dirty work. This meant they'd violated the places the tribes considered sacred. Infiltrating Bear Mountain and defeating the Black Elk tribe's chief Grizzly, Shadow Wolf gains entry to the gold mine. He finds Red and frees him along with his new friend, a man known only as Buffalo Soldier. He was part of a US cavalry company that got wiped out by General Diego, and he'd been taken as a prisoner and forced to work the mines. Buffalo Soldier says that he's going to go to Brimstone, and that he'll tell the governor to bring the cavalry. They all split up to maximize their chances of escape, and Red heads through the mines, taking out a lot of men, including 2 of General Diego's best men, a medic, Tony, and an army captain, Ted. Meanwhile, Buffalo Soldier flags down a stagecoach and hitches a ride to Brimstone. He has to defend the stagecoach from General Diego's men, especially since the stagecoach is full to the brim with TNT. After a tense trip through bandit country, Buffalo Soldier is dropped off and goes to speak with the governor. He tells him there's a renegade general on his territory, but he quite bizarrely has Buffalo Soldier arrested instead. A man pulls a revolver on Buffalo Soldier, and the governor says he's called Mr. Kelly. In the meantime, Red has arrived at the creatively named Fort Diego and meets up with Shadow Wolf. They're immediately fired upon by a soldier using a Gatling gun. Fighting a bunch of soldiers and bandits, Red flanks the Gatling gunner and takes him out. At some point, Colonel Darren seriously injures Shadow Wolf, and Red ends up killing him after a gunfight. They hear Diego's war train, and Shadow Wolf tells Red to go after him. After Shadow Wolf dies, Red honors his cousin by driving Shadow Wolf's own knife into Darren's chest. Chasing the train down, Red manages to slay most of General Diego's loyal men, and then separates the train cars. This all culminates in a showdown with General Diego, and Red kills the general, who desperately and pathetically tries to make a deal with Red. Heading back into town, Red finds Jack Swift and Annie Stokes there, both of them interested in joining the quick draw competition in order to win the $5,000 prize. Mr. Kelly, the lackey of the governor, is there too, and tries unsuccessfully to intimidate Red. Going to see Bartlett, he explains that Mr. Kelly has been the champion of the quick draw battle royale for the last 4 years. The battle royale starts, and people are eliminated, with Red taking down his opponents. Jack, Annie, and Mr. Kelly also progress. The competition continues, and then the governor is brought out. It's time for Red to face Mr. Kelly. However, before their draw, the governor decides to change the rules and disqualifies Jack Swift and Annie Stokes. The winner of this round will win the entire Battle Royale. It doesn't go the way the governor wanted it to though, as Red defeats Mr. Kelly. Red then realises that the governor is in fact a Griff, his father's business partner, and identifies him by way of the revolver he's holding, since Griff and Nate had the maid each getting one, and Red is filled with rage and a desire to kill the man who betrayed his father. Governor Griffin tells Mr. Kelly to join him at his mansion once he's taken care of business, and leaves. Chaos ensues, but Red guns down Mr. Kelly in the streets. A rather groggy Sheriff Bartlett emerges and he points Red in the direction of Griffin's mansion, but warns him that it's a fortress. Jack and Annie join him and they all head over there. Griffin is telling his men to kill anyone that comes through the gate. Beginning a full-on assault of Griffin's mansion, Red, Jack and Annie blast their merry way through his best men, including 3 of the 12 Cornet brothers, Oswald, Randy and Brian, who all, along with their brothers, serve as Secret Service agents for Governor Griffin. Red and Annie also have to protect Jack, whilst he tries to get the front door open. Managing to gain entry to the mansion itself, they battle their way up to Griffin's office. On the way up, Jack needs to stay and fight some goons, and Red and Annie find Buffalo Soldier locked up and they free him. Red takes Buffalo Soldier with him and they storm into Griffin's office. Instead, they find the leader of the Cornet brothers, Jason Cornet, in the chair, and Red takes him down in a duel. Moving out to the mansion's rooftop, Griffin is up there with some of the ugliest blokes you'll ever see. He tells Red that he's got no chance. Red and Buffalo Soldier work together, but the latter gets incapacitated by a gate he tried to blow up, and Red keeps Governor Griffin firmly in his sights, eager to avenge his father. Inflicting some damage on him, he changes tactic and decides to confront Red head-on, taunting him and saying that he should have been there to kill him. Red and the governor then engage in a showdown and Red blasts him full of holes, avenging his father. Dragging his ass downstairs, Bartlett gives him a kick for good measure and tells them he reckons the army will be showing up there soon, so he gives them a chance to get out of there as they'll likely be hanged for killing the governor. He hands Red $5,000 in gold as a bounty, but Red's not interested. He hands his revolver to his friend, Buffalo Soldier, and takes Governor Griffin's gun off him as it has a sentimental value to it. He tells Bartlett to give the bounty to Buffalo Soldier and Annie, and it seems that Jack did not survive his fight with the 3 men. Red then tips his hat to the both of them and then leaves. It was never about the money for him. The game then ends, and that's it for the story of Red Dead Revolver. As explained earlier, this game was the start of the Red Dead franchise. I am slowly working my way through Red Dead Redemption 2, and will probably be doing a Red Dead Redemption Entire Stories video at some point. But if you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Leave a comment below with your thoughts, but for now, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.